Welcome to the Forum Thread Podcast number 61. I'm your host, Dark One Dre, and here with me today, I've got Chaos Mana.
Hello.
Wubwave.
Hey.
Zap 45.
You're all beautiful.
Oh, why thank you. Lozelda.
Not all of you are beautiful.
Yes, we are. Nobod.
Hi, I'm beautiful.
Okay, Nobod's not beautiful.
That's like three completely different personalities.
Sorry. Miss Ray.
Hello.
There she is. And Sweetman.
I'm chop liver.
Yeah, sorry about that.
There's
Someone
the
has to be last.
personality.
So the person that the optimist, the pessimist, and then the narcissist.
Realist?
Yeah. Oh, we didn't have a realist in that one.
Hey, the
I'm just really
narcissist
glad
and
I
the
wasn't
emo.
the bitchy one. That was what I was expecting there. So that was exciting.
Everyone was actually thinking that, but they're all too afraid of you to actually say it out loud.
I'm cool with that. Rule by fear, man. Rule by fear.
An iron fist.
Whatever.
With a
Yep.
velvet
Bruce
glove.
power.
That's why I get to be a guardian and like on one of the crazy teams where all we have to do is be just jackasses.
Somebody's
I would love
got to
that.
do it.
It's a pretty sweet job. It
What
sounds
happens
like.
what happens to Fusion's art?
Oh, that's a maniac. No, I'm sorry.
Oh goodness.
All right.
Oh, speaking of Mr. Fusion, we give a big shout out to him for not being able to be on tonight. You are in our hearts tonight, Mr. Fusion. Hopefully you'll be able to join us next week.
Love you, sort
I
of.
won't even make fun of you like I do everybody else who misses a podcast. I
Yeah.
love you that much.
Are you sure you can
I'm-
resist the urge?
Respect, man. Respect.
Don't let her lie to you, Mr. Fusion. You should
I'm
have heard
doing.
the things she was saying about you before we started.
No, I'm doing. And you didn't.
A butt face.
No, yeah. Let's face it. I am more creative than Buttface. Give me some credit here, all right?
Yeah, that was all you know, bud. Only you would call someone a butt face.
It's funny because it's true.
So
It's funny because
let's stop making fun of how we're not making fun of people. I want to talk
Yes.
about E3. E3
That's
It's funny
exactly
'cause
what
we're
I want to
actually
talk
doing
about,
is
too.
happening and going down, and I want to talk about it because it actually
E3.
I've been really disappointed with it, and it
Really?
sounds like. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Is
Wait,
I'm in the
this year?
minority. It sounds like yes.
You've been
This
disappointed.
year-
I
I've
agree.
been
As a
I've been
PC gamer, it's
zero
like
'cause it
everything's Xbox One and PS4.
it just suddenly kind of
I
popped on the
would
radar
like to
for
defend
me.
myself.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I kind of
Let's put a little order to this. Lozelda, you tell us what you hate about E3, and
Yes.
then we'll go through and have everyone defend
and tell me
what
why
you
I'm
hate
wrong.
is good.
What does
Okay.
E3 stand for? I know what
So-
E3 is, but what does it stand for?
It's the Electronics
Entertainment
Entertainment
Expo.
Expo.
God
Oh my
Oh.
god,
damn
we all
it.
talk at the same time. All right,
Are
so
you
this
new?
happens when you're not here, Fusion. We all talk over each other. All right, so here was my beef with E3. I'm not saying I hated it, but I was very disappointed by it because the way I look at it, E3, it used to be that was when the big reveals happened. This is what was coming up for the year. Here's how awesome everything is going to be. It was really truly a press release and a show of what was coming up. And we've gotten to a point now where everyone's so busy trying to like one up each other and kind of generate that interest early that there's not really a big release and a big reveal anymore as things trickle out over the course of the year. So if you ignore some of the indie stuff that came out of it, we knew about all the stuff that's been shown. We knew it was coming. This might have been the first time we've seen it, but even then, a lot of like images and other things have been leaked for a lot of these things. There was no big like shock and awe, like, oh my god, that's so awesome moment. It was,
Objection.
let me finish. We'll talk.
Objection.
There was nothing unexpected about it, and I think as far as like, and this is gonna really net me some awesome feelings. Is I was actually really angry with Microsoft's presser because they have the prime spot. They are first, and they opened with a Call of Duty. That's something we knew
Okay.
was coming, and it's
Yeah.
we.
I'll
There
give
I
was
love
nothing.
Call of Duty.
It's
Shut up.
not. It's not exclusive to them. It's not even. It's not something that was unexpected. It's like you knew there was a Call of Duty. It's going to be cross-platform. There was no reason to take their prime opening spot with something that it was like, oh yeah, it's another one of those. And like, yeah, like I will admit, like I watched the trailer or whatever you want to call it, and it looks nice. Visually, everything that everyone showed was impressive. I'm not denying that. There are some beautiful games coming up, but there was nothing that you were like, oh my god, I can't, I wasn't expecting that, or this is going to be a really cool new thing. And it's like, yeah, I knew about that a couple weeks/months ago, whatever. And that was my issue with the E3 pressers. It was like I don't think there's a reason to have them anymore. We've reached the point where I don't think there's a point in doing them.
Yeah,
There are
that's
some
kind of
new
like
games. though,
welcome
so.
to the world that's run by the internet, where there's no real news outside of the internet anymore because we find out about it first here, and then the rest of the world finds out later.
Right.
There's
It's
some
like
new games.
I still think they need to do the trade show part of it, like where they're doing the demos and you have the playable,
Exactly.
all that stuff. I think the floor is still very important, but doing the run up of all like the hour and a half long press conferences and stuff, that
The
I think is
announcements
a
of all the
massive.
games?
That's a waste of time, I think, at this point. Because you've got, like, how many people had pressers? There were an hour and a half. I think it was 5 of them. So you're looking
Dang.
at, like, there's, like, 7.5 hours of stuff we already knew.
Yeah, you're not alone in feeling that way, Lazelda. I've actually this year I've come across articles where there's a lot of critics to the whole E3 thing now, where they're like, is this something that we should continue to do? Like, E3 doesn't seem to be evolving like it should to keep up with the modern community now, where information is so easy to get to. It still feels like it's like 10 years behind where it should be. And
what are they
it's
supposed to do?
becoming a problem.
I think E3 has not evolved with, like games have evolved with how all of our technology and how we share information, how that has progressed. But E3 itself has not, and I think that's a major mistake on their part. I think do the trade show floor thing, add
Yes,
an
'cause
extra,
I-
add a day to that, and have better coverage, have better media coverage of what's coming off of the floor, and show more practical things of it, and spend less time, quote unquote, announcing things that aren't really announcements at this point.
Exactly.
There are
I
some-
thought, like, for one example is that, like, the Game Grumps were out over there to play the brand new Super Smash Bros. Like, showing gameplay and doing things like that is what E3 should be used for, since we already know that the Super Smash was announced, like, forever ago, and then they just kind of, look, this character's here, this character's here. So, showing all the gameplay, I think that's what it should be focused on.
Yeah,
But they
playable
did show
demos
new
and
stuff,
things
I
like
mean.
that. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Wubs.
Thank you for like the 7th time I've tried to interject. Fuck,
Oh,
thanks.
excuse me.
They did show some new stuff. I mean, there are definitely a couple of games that came out that I had no idea even were in the works, let alone coming out this year, like
Yeah.
the Dark One Grade Dragon game or whatever that is from Platinum.
Yeah, that's
And,
my dragon game. Doesn't matter
It's
what
your
it's really called, it's my dragon game.
That's what it's going to be from now on.
I had no idea Platinum was releasing a game, and they also showed a lot of like new screenshots and videos from Mass Effect 4 and Battlefront 3 that are coming up.
But no. See, this was the other thing that pissed me off. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, Mass Effect, Jen, aren't you so happy?" And I just totally used my actual name. Whoops.
Wait, no one heard that.
What?
Oh
No
no!
one edit that out. I'm totally Zelda. All right.
Fusion,
Jen.
edit that out.
Jen.
Everyone's like, "Oh my God, are you so excited, Zelda? There's this new Mass Effect." And I'm like, "Here's the thing: they didn't show anything. They played
They showed
music
concept
and they showed concept art, and then they talked about how that team was working on a new IP. That's all they did, and everything. It's not even like you looked at it and went, "Oh, I think that's concept art." It's all labeled conceptual, visual, or some like bullshit term or something like that. So they didn't even really show a new Mass Effect. They showed enough to make you go, "Yeah, they're working on it." That's what they showed.
We'll
They did
get
not
to it,
actually
guys.
show
We'll get to it.
shit. They
I
didn't
was
show
surprised
shit.
with Battlefront 3, which was by the same EA, and it was very much stylized like the Mass Effect 4 one. It showed like pretty images, and you're like, oh, concept art, and it says like stuff from the beginning of the game or stuff like that. And you're like, oh shit, it actually looks
Did
really
it-
good.
Did they actually give any information about it, or is it literally just that?
Literally just that.
Yeah, it's
They
pretty
showed
much
snow
like everyone is,
speedos and other shit, and that's about it.
yeah, everyone is pretty much just doing the Square Enix thing where they just announce whatever it is they're planning on working on and make a big deal about it. Like, aren't you excited that we're announcing that we're getting started on this project and it's going to be amazing and it's going to be available sometime in the future? Aren't you excited? And after a while, everyone's just like, shut up, Square Enix. We know you're just going to announce something. We want something real this time. Please, come on, something real. And yeah, now everyone's doing that. Everyone's
stop,
doing
stop announcing that you're going to show us something awesome later
Stop
at some
announcing an
undetermined point in
announcement.
time. Yeah.
Just say the announcement.
Who
Or
who's
don't say
excited?
anything. If you don't have enough to actually show anything, just don't. It's like if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. If you don't have anything useful to say, just don't take it to the stage. If you're going to waste all this time having a press conference that you shouldn't actually be having, don't fill it with, here's all the stuff we wish we could show you, but we can't
Yeah,
because we're behind on it.
Their
And-
style seems like the gamers that are going to be playing these games, they're not giving them the information. It's not even catering to them. It's like catering to the manufacturers or something else. It seems
It's
like
like,
they're not trying.
they're doing this for their stockholders. They're doing this for the people who are
Exactly.
looking at the numbers who don't actually know what they do. And so it's like, do a stockholder meeting. Don't make a trade
conference
show
is
press
for.
conference.
That's what an
What is
expo is for, is to show off products to people who would buy them. Not necessarily the consumer, but like distributors and stuff.
Yeah, that's
Right,
the
but
whole point of an expo.
Trade
not-
shows aren't for consumers.
Yeah.
Like
Right. But so
And
it's like, so don't pretend that it still is. Like, they do these these press conferences that they're not press conferences in the way that like the word actually implies. They do these press conferences, they stream them like this, and they use words that are supposed to
They
be
use words.
gaining our interest, but they're so involved with the stockholders, like they don't know what they're doing anymore. They don't know
Well,
how
a
to
couple-
talk to the people they're trying to sell shit to.
A couple
So
years ago, E3 was just industry, and it wasn't open to the public, and they sort of changed it a couple years ago to be more open to the public, and I think they're still transitioning from that old mindset.
I thought E3 was originally open to the public, and then
Yeah,
it became
It was
I think
private
E3 was
only to the industry.
It was totally open, and then it reached ridiculous proportions. So they completely closed it off, made it strictly industry. It was completely closed doors, and I think it only lasted like that for me. I think it was like only like 3 years.
Yeah, because
before they were like,
everyone
yeah, we
stopped
have to bring
caring
this
about
back.
it.
Exactly. Everyone went, what, E3? That's still a thing? So it was open to the public, because I remember the year that it stopped being public, because I was finally reaching that point where I was like, I could totally go to this at some point. This would be awesome. Like, I'm adult now.
Too
And then it
bad
was
for
like,
you.
and so I was like ready to go, and they're like, "Oh, this next year's." But we're not. It's closed. It's strictly industry, and
Yeah.
my soul was crushed, and it was
I was
really
in the same
upsetting.
boat as you when they announced that. I'm like, really? God damn it! Because up until then, like, I didn't like at first when they first started doing it, I have proper internet, so I'd have to go to the library to get all the news about E3.
Yeah.
And then like finally I got internet. Like finally I can watch this stuff as it happens. And then I'm like, all right, maybe I can actually go to one of these someday. And then they're like, yeah, we're not going to make these open to the public anymore, just for reasons. I'm like, oh well, so much for that dream.
Yeah, so it was not strictly industry for very long. For a very long time, it was completely public, and then it went industry, and then they went, that was maybe not the best idea. So now that's when they moved to this format that they're in now, where it's like
In
kind of
between.
pretend that we're
Yeah.
exactly, put it in between, and kind of be like, we're still looking, we're interested in the gamers, we want to keep your attention and all that, but we're still really kind of doing this for
We're
stockholders.
totally interested
and,
in the gamers.
But with like conventions like Gamescom and a couple other ones, do they really need to focus more on the gamers? I mean, there's plenty of conventions
what
that
I'm-
would-
that's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
they're pretending. These press
Yeah,
conferences, they're pretending to
wishy-washy.
care about
They're
the
like right on the fence. Not
Oh, yeah,
if you want it, you need to go after a specific audience, not try to incorporate everything into one. If it doesn't
Yeah.
work like that, if the two
It's
don't
extremely
mesh.
difficult to do that.
Eh.
But
So
honestly,
with that said, does anybody have anything positive to say about this E3 so far?
yes, all
The name's
the
pretty
awesome
cool.
games that were announced, like the Woolly Yoshi game, the
Woolly
new
Yoshi?
Zelda game.
Wait, Yoshi
Yeah.
game. I did not see that.
What? Oh, it's so cool. It's like a Kirby's Yarn, but Yoshi form. It's co-op, and you can throw. It's if you haven't seen the trailer or any gameplay for it, it's really awesome.
What's it
Yeah,
called?
it
I'm
seems-
gonna look it up now.
It's
seems-
literally called Woolly, like WOOLEY
Oh,
Yoshi.
like a woolly mammoth, but woolly
Yeah,
Yoshi.
exactly. Like a Yoshi made of wool. And it's pretty cool. Oh, that's like a game that I didn't expect coming from Nintendo.
I think there's a new
Um,
Star Fox.
What, a Yoshi game? Yeah, I didn't expect that either.
I
Oh,
think
Yeah, there's a new Star Fox that they briefly discussed that was going to be only for the Wii U, and it was going to be
Oh,
first
come
person. It looks pretty cool, though, so far.
I was
I
gonna
mean, they
get the
haven't-
other Star Fox that GameCube did. That was on the GameCube.
Yeah.
I have
Well,
both
Lost.
of the GameCube Star Foxes.
I have Star Fox on my 3DS.
Yes, I have that one too.
Pretty
Well, no, I
awesome.
don't have the 3D one, but I have a DS one. Sorry.
I have Star Fox on my N64.
Although I
everyone
knew
Had Star Fox in the N64.
What do you have Star Fox on, Sweetman?
Loser.
Like just making sure you're still there.
I didn't
Yeah,
play Star Fox because I'm a loser. But anyway, I know a lot of things
Good,
were
right?
predictable. Like, of course, Nintendo was coming out with a Wii U title and Zelda and blah blah blah, Super Smash Bros. And of course, Microsoft was going to be releasing the anniversary to Halo 2. But what was unexpected was the Master Chief Edition, where they incorporated one all the way to 4 on one disc.
Yeah,
Now
that looked
that's
really cool.
something awome.
How much is the disc?
One
do you
disc,
think?
guys. One disc.
60.
Probably,
It's
yeah,
they said
$60.
it's gonna be 60, like a normal game.
What
Not bad for
is-
4 games. Yeah, that's pretty
it's
good.
The Xbox,
But
is the
considering
Xbox
that we
one using-
already own all 4 of those games, it's I don't know.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I-
when you already
Well,
own
it's
them,
gonna
that's
be
why
the
I'm saying
Xbox
not
One.
bad. I already own the games, I think, except 3. But if you don't own them, that would definitely be a great deal.
Is
If
it going to
you're
have
like,
a
"I wanna
single
try Halo."
campaign system?
Also, they're way better graphics and stuff. Like I saw some stills that were comparing like Halo 2 to
Oh,
the
so
new
they
one, and it's like,
they remastered Halo 2 now.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, they did it the
That's
same way they did
awesome.
when they
After
did when they
yeah.
redid CE. That's the same
Anniversary
idea.
edition.
But
Yeah.
it even has Halo 2 multiplayer, which is pretty
That's
cool.
what's amazing for me because I love that multiplayer. Like I would only play it locally with my friends and my brother, but now that I can revisit some game that I'm super uber badass in, or at least that's what I think, online, it's gonna be awesome.
Until you start playing it again. You
True.
realize, oh, holy shit, I suck now.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got-
that could be the case.
I got pretty hyped when I saw that come out. I was like, oh, awesome, Halo.
I
Oh, wait,
remember like
on an Xbox. Fuck.
I remember like sitting in a room with like 7 other dudes, and we had to have 2 TVs so that nobody could screen watch, and like they're facing away from each other, so it's really obvious if you do, and someone will like come over and hit you or smack you with a controller, strangle you,
Yeah.
No
strangle
killing
you with a
allowed.
wire.
Yeah, when I had LAN
Strangle
parties
with
at my
fire
house,
from
we would
the
do that
Xbox.
with Halo 2. We'd have like 4 different TVs set up, 4 different Xboxes networked together, and we'd like string sheets up between the TVs so that it was literally impossible to look at the other screen unless you actually like pulled the sheet out of the way to look over. It was pretty epic.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. A few other titles that I'm interested in is that the Hell Raid and the Shadows of Mordor. On top of
Oh, that was a good book.
To Mordor.
That was a good book. Did you read that book?
I did not. No.
Okay, read the book.
Is that a
No,
real
sir.
book?
Stop the podcast right now and just read the book.
Yeah, just stop. Let's all stop recording, and so we can read this book.
No. It's
We'll
an
put it
audio
back
book,
in
so
a few
someone
hours.
grabs the book, and then for the rest of it is just us reading the book.
20
Is
hours of
is Shadows of Mordor like canon or is it like a fan fiction? It sounds like something that
canon.
would
It
be a
was
fan
written
fiction.
by
If
Tolkien.
it's canon, then
Yeah.
how does it relate to the story? Is it like before, after?
Well, Lord of the Rings isn't the only story, or isn't the only one set in that era. And that
Well, there's
like,
Lord of the Rings
everything.
and then there's The Hobbit and
yeah.
Well,
The Hobbit was like kind of part of the Lord of the Rings. There's like the Third Age. There's also the War. There's a bunch.
yeah.
Wow.
So it
Nerd
seems like
alert.
he built his universe pretty well. The
Yeah,
Lord of the
game-
Rings wasn't even the first book.
Created
so.
an entire language.
Yeah, that's true. He was a
Created
linguist or
2
whatever, right?
entire languages.
Yeah, 2.
He was
3
a
actually.
historian and a-
okay, we need to get off this topic.
Anyway,
Completely
the-
show all your geek.
the mechanic that I'm interested in is the mechanic where the boss or your nemesis mechanic where like I slashed him in the eye, 4 stages ago, and he comes back with a mark on his right eye and his eye missing
And
from
then
that
he takes
battle.
your eye, so now it's eye for
You
an
know they
eye.
did something like that
Exactly.
in The Sims, right? When you have a bad interaction with someone, you can claim them to be your mortal enemy, and they don't forget. And every time you see them, there's these little red sparkles that appear above their head, and you're like, "Oh, you're my enemy."
Probably a
That
little more gruesome than that, but yeah.
That just teaches you to leave no one alive, though.
Yeah.
You could probably play the whole game just killing everyone. You don't have to worry
Yeah,
about it.
no one will ever be your enemy then. They're all dead.
I'm sure
What
they
enemy?
have it. Yeah, I'm sure they'll have it set up to where you can't kill certain people at certain stages, or they'll always escape at some
You'll get one
time
of those
just to keep that
messages.
mechanic fresh.
Like in Morrowind, where it'll pop up and
Oh,
say,
yeah,
you've just killed a character that was essential to the story. You can continue to play in this doomed world, but we suggest you reload a save
Either,
game.
it was exactly like that. Either reload now or continue in this doomed world that you've
Or
created.
brothers in arm. Or
Well,
But
even
you
in
didn't have a save. You were
Metal
like
Gear Solid
you
2.
saved 20 levels ago. Like
Hours.
Yeah,
of
better than what they did in Skyrim. The person accidentally died and you kind of need them, or like something happened.
Yeah.
They just don't tell you.
I thought they
You weren't supposed to be able to
yeah,
kill
you
that were
shouldn't be able to kill
Side
important
quests.
characters.
yeah, side
Well,
quest
side
character
quests
you
or
can kill.
side quests, but
Well, you shouldn't be killing the side quest characters. Then now should you? You should have
But I
found
like
people.
the kill body.
Oh,
Or like,
well,
what
I
if
wanna
a
test out
dragon
my
shows
sword.
up?
Like
Well,
dragons,
just
or
shit
if
out of
you're
luck.
doing Dawn Guard, and like random vampires will show up and like start like raging war with the entire city, and you'll be like, "What the hell?
Like, whoops,
You just killed all the town guards."
I can't complete this quest anymore.
And I don't understand.
You can complete any quest.
What, Raish?
I just started playing Oblivion, so I don't understand anything.
What? Oblivion's amazing.
Did you play
No,
Morrowind?
she just started, is what she's saying.
Oh,
This is my
it's-
first.
okay.
Did you play Arena first?
Where have you been all these
Not the
years?
Arena in Oblivion, but Arena the
I
first
haven't
level.
had access to the games. Now I have David.
Don't even worry about it, Ray. Experience
Oh,
Oblivion in its
that's
majesty.
why. Okay.
Yeah,
Glorious
I think
majesty.
Morrowind is still my favorite of the three, but Skyrim is definitely like the most complete. But I had a hell of a lot of fun with Oblivion. Yeah, I didn't say you're probably gonna have a really great time, sink a lot of hours into that game because there's a whole lot to see, and
Go
it's
back and play
gorgeous.
I'm mainly just stealing shit so far. That's my
doesn't
favorite thing.
You are late.
She spends over
I'm just robbing
10,000
everyone's line.
worth of items.
You like now Finn's like, oh, you fenced 500 gold. No, I fenced like 15,000. Where are you getting your stats, quests? I don't understand. I'm way past all of your little quests, but whatever.
I was playing the
Detailed.
Hearthfire DLC, and I accidentally mined like 20,000 quarry stones.
That dude.
How do you
that's
accidentally do that?
I was working out, and I left the Skyrim to go.
Oh.
Mine. I was working out. I came back. It was 20,000 quarry stones, and I was like, "Well, this dude's not dead somehow." So,
well,
carrying
lucky,
20,000
lucky
quarry
you.
stones.
Yeah,
Carrying
now you can build your own
20,000
castle.
I somehow fit them all into a tiny chest.
That's the logic behind Elder Scrolls that I love so dearly. Any game announcements that you guys are interested in? I know I kind of talked.
But we already know which one I'm most excited about. We already mentioned that
Yeah,
one.
you already mentioned that one. What about the rest of you? Zelda? That Zelda game though? Huh?
I don't know.
Why
yeah,
would she be
the
interested in Zelda?
Zelda one
understand.
actually disappointed me a little bit too, but that was for
Oh
completely
my
shallow.
god.
That was for
Oh.
very shallow reasons. I hate cell shading. I
What?
hate it, and I have
What is
wanted for
wrong with
ages
you?
for them to do another realistic look. Realistic kind of
Okay.
graphic
Realistic, my ass.
No, no,
which
no.
which realistic one are we talking about?
I will
Ocarina?
agree with you. I will agree
No,
with you.
I'm saying like Twilight Princess got close. It was
Okay,
on a
okay,
shitty
fair.
system.
Fair.
I wanted to see something like that could really take advantage of having a better system and having a better engine for all that kind of stuff.
Did you
And-
see Destiny, like the Dynasty Warriors version of Legend of
Oh
Zelda?
my god, don't get me started on that one.
Dynasty
Oh,
Warriors is
cool.
Do you enjoy? Do you like that, or are you gonna be upset about that? Or
I'm gonna be upset about it. Like,
Dynasty
It's-
Warriors is
like,
good with everything they do, though.
I'm okay with it in the fact that they have straight up said it's literally Dynasty Warriors with the Zelda skin. They are not pretending that it is a Zelda game. So, like, in that respect, I'm cool with it. It's like, okay, that's fine. But it's like, I have zero interest in it,
Like,
and
why?
I don't like how they're kind of like, and it's not like Zelda has been on the best track record recently. Like, it's like Link Between Worlds did good, but the series has had some issues, and so I don't like that they're kind of like cheapening it by just being like, oh yeah, we're using it as the skin for this other really popular game to try to like bring it back. Like,
Next
that's
thing you
fine
know,
for
it's
me.
gonna be there's gonna be little marshmallows and Lucky Charms shaped like Zelda just to try and
Right.
gain popularity.
Yeah. So it's like so the
get
Dynasty
it.
Warriors Hyrule Warriors thing, I'm not a huge fan of that. What they showed at the Zelda World, I have to admit, I will give them credit. The open world, not open world, their open map concept, I think is a better way to phrase it. That I find really interesting, and that I'm really curious to see how that plays out. And I'm going to play the game. I'm going to get a Wii U at some point because there's things that are coming out that I'm actually like, oh yeah, I might actually play that.
Oh wait, is it
So it's
only
like
on the Wii?
Mario Kart 8 is
Only on Wii U.
fantastic.
That is
by
the
the way-
game.
It is. I've actually played that, and I've been
I really want to play these games, but so far the only current gen system that we don't have or won't have access to is the Wii U. We only have the Wii.
And
Yeah.
honestly, it's the only new gen or current gen consoles that are backwards compatible. You can play your Wii games on the Wii
I
U.
like that. That's one of my favorite things
Can you
about
play
Nintendo.
GameCube?
You can play GameCube
You can
games on
down-
the Wii, and then you can play Wii games on the Wii U. So it's like they're helping you up
Oh,
every step of the
yeah.
way.
So,
I
that's
will
a question.
give
Can you play GameCube games on a Wii U?
I haven't tested
I don't
that.
think
I
so.
had no idea.
Can I play my N64
you
on my
can't
Wii
play
U?
GameCube games because
Shut up.
from what I remember, there's no memory card slots, and I don't think there's any other slots for
Got
that.
it.
There might be downloadable games, But
Yeah,
there are.
If it's not on their little network, you won't be able to play.
But
I've been
that
Well,
brings
playing
the
the shit
question,
out
my
of
Super
Minish Cap right
Nintendo.
now.
why would you want to play a GameCube game on a Wii U, especially with everyone having high definition TVs? Like, have you seen what that looks like on a high
You
definition?
do know
yeah,
you do
4,000
know that
It's
I,
like took a shit and smeared it all over the screen.
Dark, I would like you to know. Do you know what I did 2 weeks ago?
I
I
probably.
hooked up to my smart TV.
Oh,
So
God.
it's a
Here we
really
go.
nice TV. I hooked
we
up my NES.
I hope you're proud of
Well,
yourself.
Well, that's,
I am. It looks terrible, but it's still fun. I still enjoy all
the reason
Yeah, because
people,
it's pixelated.
The reason
It's-
people do
it's
it
supposed
is
to be
because
pixelated.
it's the nostalgia enjoyment of what you felt when you played the game before, and you're like, oh, I just want to play this. Or if you were like gonna get new to a series, and the first game of the series was on a lower grade system, but you still wanted to start.
Like
at number
Elder
1.
Scrolls.
well, I a couple of years back, I got like Final Fantasy VII, I think, on like the PlayStation Store, and I remember when that came out, the graphics were like so awesome and the cutscenes and everything. And then I was playing it on my like 50-inch TV, and it looks like garbage. Like everything is all there's like those little phase lines or
spoiled.
whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
It does look like even
You'll
on my
invent
computer
my precious-
screen, which is no HD screen.
Yeah.
I have Final Fantasy VII from the Steam store, and it
Yeah.
didn't look quite as good as I was expecting it to look.
Final Fantasy VII's on Steam.
And 8.
Oh,
That's crazy. Oh,
and
that's awesome.
3, I believe.
And here, now that we're on the topic,
Which
of
is
Final
actually
Fantasy
6,
again,
but let's not get into that.
the Final Fantasy VII HD remaster has been something that Square Enix has been teasing us with for years, and they've yet to deliver on it.
They're probably
since-
working on different stuff, like, Metal Gear Solid, Phantom Pains, and things.
And
Like
things.
that.
Yeah, they
I
have
thought
so many
finished
projects
with
that
it.
they're working
I
on.
don't
The only
even know.
thing they can squirt out are more Final Fantasy 13 sequels. even though
that,
no one
I'll
really
play
asked.
it. I'll play a remastering of Final Fantasy VII. I
would
feel
be
like
nice.
if I go back to a game like that and play it in the way it was originally designed, I'll be more objective about it than most people are, because most people played the game when they were younger and they have this nostalgia about it. Like
Yeah, that's the problem. I have.
Ocarina of Time. Like, I've played it. It's okay. I didn't really like the camera controls in certain temples, especially the water temple. But that's like
Water
everybody's
Temple
right.
sucks ass.
The water
temples
temple
are
isn't
always
too bad.
notorious for being the worst.
It pissed me off because of the camera, like the boss, and some major gripes
That's
I have about
Nintendo
that game.
64 for you. There's no good any Nintendo 64 game. They're
Oh,
I
all
don't know.
Conker's
Super
Bad
Mario
Fur Day.
64 wasn't bad.
Conker's Bad Fur Day really worked with you there.
well,
Star Fox.
okay.
It only has one camera angle.
Yeah,
Almost.
the Star Fox camera was pretty good.
Most games that were critically acclaimed and very popular with the fans and the customers or consumers as well. Honestly, I mean, I don't know. Mechanics could. I'm not a big graphics person, like Minecraft, for example, or Nidhogg, or shitty graphics doesn't mean much, but it's the type of storytelling they do in those older games, and it's the type of mechanics they
very well.
have.
I don't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there's a
the
difference with like bad
It has to do
graphics.
with the mechanics. It has to do with the mechanics. I don't give a fuck about the graphics. I just feel like coupled with the bad graphics would equal a bad experience for me. I don't know.
I think bad
What-
graphics for the sake of like doing bad graphics. Like Minecraft is intentionally like simple.
Intentionally
But if you
simple,
go
so
back-
then you can have people then make it HD. The first building
Open
block.
source. Yeah.
But it's like you look at GoldenEye, which like at the time the graphics were pretty good on that, and then like I played that recently on like a big
Awful.
TV, and they're terrible. And
Well,
like
and the controls, like at the time, were revolutionary. But if
Yeah.
you compare
I
them
can't play it
to
anymore.
yeah, like what we have now with what like Halo, the first Halo kind of revolutionized first-person
Like
shooters
Luke
again,
said.
and everyone just kind of duplicated their control system. So even though GoldenEye back in the day was like amazing,
I literally cannot play it now.
yeah, I
You can
can't
play it on you can play it on Gary's mod.
yeah.
No, but what I
Counter-Strike
mean-
source, and then
What
you
I
can-
mean is like I have a
graphic
copy of the
controller.
game, and I try to play it like on the Nintendo, and
Yeah.
I can't control it. It's inverted. You can't change that at all.
Oh
And
God.
I've been playing without inverted controllers.
you know,
Like, there's just no getting back to it.
I had the same problem, not with inversion, but with not being able to play the older version with the Super Smash Bros. Franchise.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
I used to kick ass on the 64 version, and then the GameCube version came out, and then the Wii version came out, and then one day my friends and I were like, "Hey, let's break out the 64 version because that's what we all got started on," and we all royally sucked at it. Like, it was so hard compared to the newer ones. Like,
That-
dude, what happened to us?
That's like the only one that I ever played, and so like at work we've got I brought in my N64 for like lunchtime and stuff, and like nobody ever wants to play against me.
Remind me to never
Aw.
play against you then, because
It's-
I
I'll
wouldn't
play against you.
either.
Like any of the other ones, like I suck. I'm pretty like average at best, but like the 64 one, pretty decent.
Nah,
I
man.
could. I got you.
That Ganondorf though. Oh man, the GameCube, man. I'll rock your socks off, brah.
Oh,
No, but
I can do that too. I'm Fox in every single one. I do pretty good.
Ugh, of course you are.
Yeah,
Speaking about weird controls in fighting games, this just reminded me that both Injustice and Mortal Kombat 9 went on sale on Steam. They have the most retarded control scheme ever on the PC. Like literally to now, like in game it's fine, you know, it's WASD keys to move, but then like punches like T, G, and U, and to navigate the menu is the WASD keys and enter. You're like, what the fuck?
And this
Like,
is why
why
we
can't I
play
just use a
Xbox.
mouse?
It plays fine. You can't use your mouse.
It's a fighter game, man.
Plug in a controller.
No,
You can't do
like
that.
for menus. Like you should
Wow.
be able to use the mouse
See,
for
this
menus.
You
is
can't.
why we play Xbox.
You can't use the
Exactly.
mouse for menus. It plays
Really?
fine in game. Like once you get used to it, it's kind of weird to begin with. But I mean, the T, G, and U are actually pretty well spaced.
Are they?
Just wanted to throw that in.
They're probably just trying to emulate the whole arcade feel where you had to do everything through buttons.
Oh yeah, the buttons and the joystick. Oh, has anyone played Tekken?
Yeah.
uh,
Double G.
like arcade stay?
I
Oh,
have,
man.
and there's a reason why I don't do that.
Oh, and the menu button is the one key.
One key.
The one key. I was like, how the fuck do I pause my game? I was like smashing my keyboard. I'm like, it's one. Okay.
You know, that one key.
Because
Yeah,
that's
you know,
so
the
intuitive.
universal pause button. Why make it F7 or something so it's even more confusing?
Maybe
Yeah,
it's just so it
print
could be
screen.
universal.
Print screen to pause.
Anyway,
Yeah.
gripe over.
Yeah, I was.
Right
Good to
over.
know.
I just got the Xbox One, and it came with Rise, and so I was playing through that, and it's like standard third-person hack and slash, but they added in like voice controls. So there's bits where you're like fighting off hordes of barbarians or whatever, and you got like all these archers with you, and you got to like order the archers to like shoot arrows at them or like get out of the way of catapults and stuff. Like I thought it was a pretty cool addition.
There are some games that do the Kinect well. When it comes to integration and along with the peripheral that is the Kinect, and
Yeah.
Rise would definitely be one of them.
Yeah, it
Mass
still feels
Effect 3.
incredibly gimmicky to me, though. That
Yeah, way too many QuickTime events.
Yeah. Honestly, I hate QuickTime. That's
It's
just me.
awful. It's not so bad on the controller because I grew up like playing. If it was ever a QuickTime event, I was using a controller. When I suddenly had to play recently a game on the computer, my keys are like not fit for that, and I couldn't do
No.
it at all.
So you have sticky keys, David? So we-
No,
Why are
they're
you-
just old. They're
No,
just
that
older.
it's all that
keys.
rigorous masturbation.
Is
Has to be done. Has to be done. Anyway.
That's what
Wow.
tissues are for, David. Use tissues and always wash your hands after so you don't get the lube on the keyboard.
Exactly.
It's just it's very annoying
Spending
when
a
they
lot of
do
money
it
just to
over
do
and
that.
over for QuickTime events, or when you're just button mashing for many. You have to do it each time you want to do something.
I just think it
Yeah.
takes you out of the game.
Or yeah, and the most annoying thing to me is like if you know it's coming, like if it's a QuickTime event during a game. I'm going to use Turok as an example because it was a terrible game, but that part made sense. Like if a dinosaur like jumps on your face and you have to mash a QuickTime event to keep it from to
Nom,
fight it
nom,
off.
nom.
That actually does kind of make sense. But when QuickTime events happen in the middle of a cutscene,
Or
Like,
QuickTime
where you-
events to do something like just like open a door. QuickTime.
yeah, something that you're completely not expecting. Like you're like, okay, the characters, the camera's zoomed out away from your normal field of view. the characters are talking now. You're like, oh great, and then someone suddenly like pulls out a knife and goes to axe your face, and it's like hit X not to die, and you're like, oh shit, my controller's on the floor. I wasn't expecting to have to interact with this. And then you die, and then you have to watch the whole video all over again just so you can hit X at that one spot. You're like,
Yep.
dude, that's just bad design.
And I feel it takes you out of the game as well. Like, I feel like you should any and all combat should be done by the player.
If it's not integrated well, it really does so. And even for games that it does, if you're not good at it, if you don't like it, you can easily get upset, especially if it makes you have to restart and things. I remember in like Wubway, wasn't one of the bosses for Metal Gear like you fight the whole thing, and then at the end, if you don't do the right quick time, you have to just do the entire boss fight again. They do something like that.
Yeah, I think
honestly,
Rise was pretty good for that. Like, if you're in boss fights and stuff, like, there's a few of them where you'd have to, like, bring all their health down, like, 3 times, and there's only one way to, like, attack them. And it gets kind of frustrating at first figuring it out, but then once you get it, it's, like, not that bad. And if you, like, die in between one of those, like, so say I kill this boss one time, or I bring all the health down once, and then it does a little, like, cinematic, then I have to, like, start over again, but then, like, she kills me because I don't know what I'm doing this time. Then instead of like going right back to the beginning, it's like you start from that sort of checkpoint in the middle. So it keeps it from like getting incredibly frustrating and time consuming.
That's cool.
I had an experience recently with something that was incredibly frustrating. Have you guys played the Far Cry 3 co-op mode?
No.
I've seen it done a lot on Rooster Teeth, but so I know.
I've never had a chance to have someone like actually play through it with me.
Okay, because Ken and I, we actually started playing the co-op mode a couple days ago, earlier this week, and we ran into we got through the first, like, I want to say it's the first 2. We got through the first 2 levels, quote unquote, because there's no real. It doesn't really. Tell you exactly where you're
levels. At. You have to get to the end of something, and it
you get to the end, and then it loads the little here's the next part. So we got through like the first 2, and then we finally got to what I had to look up what this thing was. It's called a Pirate Heavy Gunner. It's a guy wearing flip-flops with a metal suit on and a gun.
Oh yeah.
And
Vacationing Iron Man.
Like with the loadout that I had a sniper rifle, and
never use the sniper. No,
I shot him twice in the face and down drastically. It didn't kill him, but it brought his health down drastically, and I got him down to where he just had a tiny little bit of health. And so I'm like, okay, I'll hit him again, and I hit him again with the sniper rifle. Nothing happened. I emptied my clip on him with the sniper rifle, and nothing happened. The health bar stayed at that point, and Ken is like already dead, bleeding out somewhere.
You have to use explosives.
And I'm like,
explosives or run into his face with a shotgun.
Yeah, so I looked this up after we got done playing, but we retried that level like 8 times and then rage quit because we're like, we cannot. This guy will not die. Like, this makes no sense. And I'm like, I fucking hate it when video games do this, where they make
where they don't explain
character.
What you're really supposed to do.
Yeah, you're like, how the hell am I supposed to kill this character? He's got, if I shoot him in the face with the sniper rifle and his health goes down, I should be able to continue to kill him. But no, once his health gets down to a little tiny bit, it's like, sorry, son, the only way you can kill this guy is with a specific weapon in a specific way, and we're not going to tell you how. Oh!
Yeah, they shouldn't give, like, maybe having, like, arrows pointing at eyes or something like that. Maybe not too easy, but at the same time, they shouldn't make it, like, completely no indication that the way that you're injuring him is no longer effective.
Yeah, and that doesn't make any sense. Like, you're shooting someone in the face with a sniper rifle. It doesn't matter how much armor you have on. That bullet's going to go through and it's going to kill your ass. So
shot him in his exposed feet. He's wearing flip-flops for a reason.
Yeah, it occurred to me like afterwards, and maybe I should have shot him in his feet. But then I looked it up on the Far Cry 3 wiki page, and it said, yeah, you can shoot him in the feet all you want, it won't do you any good.
I like that. It's a page.
What did it tell you to do?
It pretty much said to what did it say? I think it said to use like something explosive on him.
Use explosives or pop him in the face with a shotgun.
Grenades. It said to use grenades or explosive devices. That's what it said.
Grenades are not explosive devices.
The most infuriating example I have of that is there was this mod I used to play for Dawn of War. And the mod was fantastic, except for some reason the developer decided every like boss mission there needs to be an invincible enemy always attacking you.
Oh, that's for whoever pirated God of War. That must have been a pirated version. It's one of those.
No, it was a mod for Dawn of War, and they decided to say,
Dawn of War,
we'll
whatever.
put like a champion enemy that's completely invincible. You can't kill him. You just
What I
have to
meant.
figure it out, fuckface. And
You just have to run away.
you can't even run away. It's a OTS game, so you have to defend against this invincible juggernaut while simultaneously attacking the enemy base.
That sounds
That
like
sounds like Final Fantasy.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
pile of bullshit.
I would agree with Wub. That seems fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, everything else in the mod was fantastic. I'm like, I love this mod. This is the best. Why can't I kill this guy? Even with like a giant Titan type vehicle. Yo, he's just invincible forever. Just end up spamming units at him and having them kill him, and hopefully they'll distract him long enough so he can kill everyone else. Dumb. Rant over.
But honestly, overall, I don't know. I agree with Low Zelda when it comes to the announcement part. I feel like that should be done at a
Wait,
private.
back to E3 now?
Oh yeah,
yeah. We've been talking about video games this whole entire time. I mean, I
Yeah.
still want to talk about Hellraid, this cool game where you can play up to 2 to 4 people and you can customize. It's like
Okay,
it's
fair
like Skyrim, but co-op mode. Like it's Skyrim with cooperative.
I so wish Skyrim could have been co-op. That would have been
Yeah.
so awesome.
But it's not coming until 2015, though. Sad face. But I also agree with Low Zelda when it comes to the announcement should be held at a stock meeting, and the gameplay and mechanics, maybe a few other things like characters and stuff like that, should be revealed at the actual expo of E3. Rant over.
I do like the fact that it's
Yeah, that's
sort of.
what Wave's saying.
I can manage it all
I'm
day.
stealing it.
I'm still one ahead of him. The thing I do like about E3 is that it's sort of like a beacon for everyone else who's not really showing anything at E3 to say, put out something. Like Borderlands put out the new trailer.
Hey, come on, put out.
Oh, I remember what I thought was
I
one
like
of the
how
most
Dark
interesting
got
things.
really excited as soon as someone said the phrase "put out."
Put out.
Oh.
No, if he said pull out. No. This reminded me,
you
like
know, whatever.
one of the juiciest bits of gossip that came out of E3 so far, for me anyway. And since you're the token female on this podcast, I wanted to run this by you.
Wait.
Well, Ray, you don't really talk.
There's
So-
a token laugh track.
Yeah, sorry. But it was
Fuck you.
well, if you talked more, you would be included.
She
Talk about
actually told
something
us.
interesting.
Yeah, I was just gonna say she actually told us whenever she's quiet, it's because she thinks whatever we're talking about is boring. So you can obviously judge what she thinks of E3. She thinks it's dumb. Isn't that right, Dad?
But also, I was too busy doing, wedding shit to pay attention to that bullshit, so.
See, there we go. She's not even paying attention. So
I'm
anyway,
letting it. Wait.
Let Doc speak.
so everyone loves the Assassin's Creed franchise, but however, the newest version of the game that's coming out for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, I presume, they were asked if they were going to be if you could play as a female character, because almost half of all gamers have a vagina, and they're like, are we going to be able to actually play? And their response was, no, we ain't got time for that shit.
Yeah. So here's my issue with it: is I don't like games to include female characters just to make the people who are
make it female.
just to say, look, we have a female character. That's all. That's worse than not having one. And I hate when they put them in there to make that kind of camp of people shut up, and then also makes them like scantily clad or whatever. What bothered me about that announcement was two different things. And the first one was that they said it was too hard to do the development for a female character.
It doesn't make
And
any
it's like-
sense.
Exactly. It's like you already have a base. Like I'm not a developer. I don't do any of this stuff. So I'm sure we have extra curves. It's probably a little harder to model that, but it's like the joke that we've started online at this point is they said it was too expensive to do that, and it's like, well, you can't have a naked assassin running around, and covering breasts is really expensive. So if they couldn't have her naked, mostly naked, why bother? So it bothered me that they're like, oh, it was too expensive to do it. what really actually bothers me about it, because this is the level of nerd I am, is that as far as actual information for the French Revolution goes, is like one of the major historical assassins was a woman. That's actually a thing. Like, because one of the other things they said is that it's not historically accurate. Like, literally, if you go to Google and you like search for the French Revolution, like the 6th entry is for a female assassin that was well known for this revolution.
Are they really going to go that far down the list, though?
Yeah, I know. It's like if you have to scroll down
it's
one
too much
click.
for Ubisoft. They're really lazy. They're like, top
so
3.
That's what actually bothered me about it, was the argument. They're like, well, it wouldn't have been historically accurate to just include a female character. And it's like, that you literally didn't take 2 seconds to Google the French Revolution. Like, it's on the first page. I'm not even saying it's like the 6th page. It's the 6th entry on the first page. Like, you literally put no effort into this. It's like, and that's almost what bothers me the most, saying that it's too expensive to do women and it wouldn't have been historically accurate. And both of those are just absolute bullshit. Just come right out and say,
maybe she was just like a fluke.
It was complete idiocy.
There was an Assassin's Creed game with a female character in it, though. Female lead, I should say. It was for like the Wii U. It was like Assassin's Creed something or another. I don't really know.
Well, and there were a lot of like female assassins in Brotherhood, like the little.
Well, yeah, but I mean the one for, I think it was the Wii U. I'm completely talking out my ass. I know the game exists. I'm just not going to Google it right now. But it was the female lead taking place during like the American slave times. I'm gonna Google it right now.
The American slave times.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like, I have not played any of the Assassin's Creed games. All I know is what I've read. I've not played them just because it's not my style of game. My sister loves them or whatever.
Yeah, my sister likes them too.
So wherever there might be women included, I don't know. But what bothered me about this new one is that they were specifically asked about it, and their excuses were it's not historically accurate, which is incorrect, and that it was too expensive.
Is they confirmed the time period that it's for?
Yeah, I'm
the
going
17,
to. Yeah, they said it was for the French Revolution thing, and this popped up on my Twitter recently. The whole thing that there is actually, like a female assassin in the history books, that she's there. So I'm trying to find it right now while we're talking and figure out, because there was.
Are you saying Joan of Arc?
No, I'm not saying.
She wasn't an assassin.
Fuck, no.
She could have been.
I don't even.
She could have been
under their. She was a paladin.
Don't even know what to say
paladin,
to you
not
right
an assassin. Seriously.
You mean Templar?
Paladin.
Yeah. Anyway, their storyline could have incorporated Joan of Arc somewhere if they were going to do that, but Joan of Arc's way past, or no, before the French Revolution. For the French Revolution, they're doing the one
Revolution?
Well, he's correct though. Nobot is correct. There are 2, I believe. But yeah, doing the one where
like 5.
Marie Antoinette.
Marie Antemaria.
Call her Chuck, okay?
Yeah, Marie. Anyway, where it's like, oh, let them have cake or whatever. They're doing that
and
one.
They'll eat it too.
That was taken out of context.
Yeah, it was, and that's why that kind of revolution started.
She was just dumb.
But another thing is they should have argued that there was time constraints, 1, and 2, that it wouldn't fit in their story or their timeline. That's what they should have argued.
I think for female characters being included, it should be, they shouldn't feel forced to do it, but they shouldn't discount it as an option. They should include female or male characters depending on just what story they want to tell. If they don't have a female character, then it's just their choice.
They should do whatever they feel makes the best game.
That's absolutely true. But at the same time, like the beef I have with it is if you are familiar with the Assassin's Creed game, the main character doesn't really say anything. He's pretty much just one of those voiceless, nondescript characters that you play, this play through the story as. So the gender that model doesn't actually have any sort of relevance.
For the first one, yeah.
Yeah,
the relevance becomes when it comes to Ezio's story. You're
in later
Assassin's
iterations.
Creed 2, definitely he was more of a character. I don't know about the first
one, though. The first one, I played the first one. It was, Oh, Liberation? Was it any good?
I never played it. I stopped playing after
any game reviews? Yeah, I stopped playing after 1, so.
I think it was okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be interesting. I'll probably look up a review or games and see if I want to push that.
I don't even know what platform it was.
What's a platform?
What's a platform?
Are we
like
playing
How do you
platformers
stand
now?
Oh,
Just
it's
want to make
actually
a joke.
on 360 and
No.
PlayStation 3. Okay.
Oh wow,
And the Vita.
I have.
So all you guys out there
Vita.
with Vita.
Does anybody actually have the Vita?
My
No.
brother does.
I don't.
It's pretty cool.
But that reminded me, a game that actually did, at least in my opinion as a dude, that did female characters pretty well is Gears of War 3, because they just basically kind of were like everyone else. They wore body armor, and they just ran around shooting people. And they weren't like, oh my god, I'm a lady. That's what lady said. Like,
That's
And
That's what I like about in female characters, and there are people they're very opposing ideas on this. For me, it's like I think a good strong female character is somebody that it could have easily been a dude, and your gameplay doesn't change.
yeah, kind of like the
It's
Mass
like-
Effect series.
Like,
well,
So-
actually, I have a
you
gripe with the Mass Effect series about that. Rant
Oh,
number
please!
3.
I would
I'm
love to
late.
hear this.
Yeah, go
And
ahead.
remember when the first game came out and there was like the big debacle over the sex scene?
Exactly.
And it's on Fox News or whatever, and the lady goes, well, they're just going to treat female characters as like an item or something to be ogled at. You're like, that's ridiculous, because Leora and Ashley both wear like body armor through the entire series, and it's only for like 10 minutes. And then in Mass Effect 2, it's like, here's Miranda, who wears a tight shirt all the time, and here's, what's her face? Jack, who wears straps, and here's Samara, who wears like cleavage to the max body armor, and you're
And
like,
here's Grunt, who don't even got
and here's Grunt,
yeah.
who's just, I mean, he's sexy.
So
Steve
I'm
Blum,
gonna get started
His
on
name
Grunt.
says it all.
So like
Oh, yeah.
a gripe that I have with like female characters though, like with my job, I see women who are like in a military setting who are in positions of authority, and not
They're
to
not
like paint
attractive.
everybody, not that, but not to paint everybody with the same brush, but like there's a sort of similar attitude that a lot of them have that most like military entertainment, like games and movies and videos and all that kind of thing, don't really capture. Like the thing in my head right now is red versus blue right now, to be honest, because like they've got that female CO in this season that's going on right now. I don't know what her name is, but
Kimball.
yeah.
One chick.
and like just like listening to her talk and stuff, I'm like, I don't feel she really gives off like the persona of somebody that would be in that position. And I find that happens all the time when they try to like stuff a woman into there. Like I think the Gears of War one was pretty good, but
Yeah, I think Gears of
Thank you
War
for
probably
phrasing it
nailed
like
it the
that.
best, because, I mean,
Yeah.
they were just like everyone else. You're like, here's Dom, here's, I don't remember what her name was, the blonde one.
Lucy?
Baird. No, I'm kidding.
Well, yeah. Yeah,
But,
no.
yeah, but like,
Anya.
like
Anya.
Anya, yeah. Like
Anya's
Zelda said,
strapped.
like, Anya could have been a dude and it would have made no difference. You
Yeah.
wouldn't have.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's
Like you could definitely.
Yeah.
You can,
like
you
if
can have
in Mass Effect, if they had a dude running around wearing like a skin tight uniform, you'd probably notice. And his
Jack.
name was Jacob.
Oh, Jacob, yeah. Not Jack.
fucking
Oh, Jack.
Jacob.
I bet
The
you-
best image I saw, this is a tangent, was like the beginning of character arcs throughout the series, and it was like Vex, bounty hunter, becomes clan leader of the entire species. Miranda, assassin, becomes like even better assassin, I guess. Jack, kind of a dick, becomes a teacher for a bunch of students, and Jacob starts as Jacob and ends as Jacob.
It's
Yeah.
so true.
Jacob was one of the most uninteresting characters. And that's fine. Like they can't all. And I'm. This is gonna sound really weird, and I might actually sound a little sexist when I say this. I don't know, but I was actually really glad that, as far as the entire cast of characters went for all of Mass Effect, Jacob was probably the most boring, and I'm glad that for a change, the most boring character was a dude, because it's always the women, because the women are because they're trying to shoehorn women into games. They end up being so one-dimensional. They serve one purpose, and that's it. And so they're always the boring ones. So I was actually really excited that there was a dude
Yeah.
who was the boring one.
Where women in games are at now is kind of where gay people in sitcoms were in the 1990s, where you're like, ooh, really? No.
He's the smart,
Yeah, but now
funny
that we have
one that's
Modern
also the
Family.
girl's friend. You know,
Now we have
like that
Modern
was the
Family.
stereo.
Yeah, like all I have to say is, oh fuck, now I can't even remember what that goddamn show is called.
Will and Grace.
Will and Grace. Yeah, just look at Will and Grace at that monstrosity. I rest my
I don't know.
case.
Will
Modern
seems
I
like
like
a pretty normal
that.
dude.
Of course you like that. You're
That-
not
that's
gay.
For a brief moment, I'm going to tell you guys in our Skype chat. I actually put the link to what I was talking about with the female assassin literally showing up like 6 entries under when you search for French Revolution. So it's
Maybe
in there
when
if
they
you want to
do-
see that.
Maybe when they do a World War II one, they'll do one about like the female snipers in Russia who were badass all the time.
Oh yeah.
She only
Well,
killed
that's
2
right.
people
Russia
though.
were badass all the time.
No, there was like a bunch of female snipers because Russia doesn't hold back when they fight. They're not like, oh, we can only take the men to fight. It's like everyone get on the bus.
They go
we're going
forward,
to war.
and they don't stop going forward. They
Yeah.
die.
They take everyone. Like, what are you, 10 years old? Fuck it, get in the battle lines.
Yeah. Can
We
you
have
hold a
female
gun?
infanteers. We have female infanteers.
That's good.
Oh,
But that's-
There's not
Shall we not-
executed under the guillotine for assassination of
She
Dick
only
Holman.
killed 2 people though. Kind of game are you going to make about somebody who only killed 2 people? Like that's
Dude,
not
that'd
bad.
actually be a really good.
The first
like,
half of the game is you killing the first person. The second half of the game
Yeah.
is you killing the second person.
Like,
Have
you
played
only get
the
to kill 2
Assassin's Creed game. That's kind of how they go. You do a bunch of nothing, and then you're like, oh, I need to assassinate this person. So you get close to that person. Well, at least in the first games, anyway. You got close to that person.
Who gonna
You
die?
assassinated them. You're like, ooh, that was a really good sneak kill. And then
And
do
monologue.
it over again.
But you
Yeah.
get to like kill so many other people along the way.
So all you have to do is just have her assassinate a couple other people, artistic license, yada yada.
Make it
yada.
up.
There you go.
This
Yeah,
is
that's-
historically accurate. You can't just
No,
make things
it's
up
not
like that.
really historically.
Please, yeah. If Assassin's Creed
Uh,
is historically accurate, my ass is historically accurate. It has
It-
existed
is
for
it
6
not?
billion
Well,
years.
It's,
What?
In what
it's
regard?
like one of those
How
things
is your
where it
ass
says-
inaccurate?
where it says based on a true story. So it's based on things that actually happen. It's
Yeah,
based
what
on
happened? The events that happened in Assassin's Creed really happened, and like they said, if there's any famous characters that died, that were really historical figures, the time and the place, and I think approximately the way, something like that, they died is accurate. The time,
Yeah.
and
But
the
Yeah.
everything else
that's
is
about
open
it.
to artistic interpretation.
It's like how Star Wars was a documentary. Like they obviously they couldn't like show it exactly as it happened, so they had to like make it up a little bit. But
Which
I
then
mean,
led into
for the
Lord
most
of
part,
Rings.
it's the same.
That's
Yeah.
probably the best simile I've ever heard. I don't even know what to say to that. That's
A simile
that's
is a metaphor
awesome.
while using like or as.
No,
In case
That-
you're wondering.
Correct.
Yes.
Points towards Nobod.
Knowledge.
So I've got something that I wanted to ask, and I feel kind of bad that I don't actually know more about this. But as you all know, I'm a horrible person when it comes to keeping up with what's going on the Rooster Teeth. I saw that they that Rooster Teeth and Bernie in particular was talking about how they got funding for their movie project.
Yeah,
Oh,
$1 million.
Indiegogo, yeah.
This
2
entire
days.
I don't know
thing
what the
started.
project is.
The
Tell me
entire
about it.
thing started over the last like 3 days or something. It's
50
completely
some hours,
understandable that you wouldn't know because it was like, hey, we're gonna
Yeah.
do this. Oh my gosh, what just happened?
Yeah.
58 hours, they get $1 million.
Hey,
Yeah.
what's this thing about?
So
It's
here's
a sci-fi
movie.
comedy.
so they're doing a full length movie. They're doing an actual legitimate movie. Then it's not day 5. They're doing day 5, but this is not what the funding is for.
called
They're doing
Laser
something.
Team.
They're calling it Laser Team. It's supposed to be a sci-fi comedy. They haven't told us much beyond that. I could read the little synopsis thing they gave for the movie, but I figure you could go and read that if you really wanted to. I'm not going to do like an audiobook thing right here. But so there's a really short blurb about what it is. They're going to do like a conference call stream kind of thing on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, the 17th, I think it is, where they're going to kind of give a little bit more information for people who are early backers and whatnot that you can watch. And I don't know if they're going to make it like kind of interactive-y where you could ask questions. I think they're just going to like give us information to kind of tell us some things. But that's what they're doing is they're getting funding for this movie thing.
Yeah.
Their original goal was $650,000.
And
They met that in 10 hours.
And then they
and-
Yeah, that's what was
reached $1
amazing
million.
to me.
Currently, they're at 1.18 million.
Yeah,
See, they didn't have a buy Bernie for your podcast option, so I didn't buy anything.
yeah. And so, and
I was
it
a bit sad that the different things that they put on it, the different rewards, like
Were expensive as
$250, $500. I'm like, I would really want those things, but
Yeah.
I don't have $10 to throw at RT.
How much money people spent just to be on the podcast? Oh my god.
Yeah, so there's things like, and part of it is you have to realize too is like when you're doing this money, you're donating it, and what they're giving you is a perk. You're not buying that thing.
Yeah.
So when they say like a poster's $50, it's like of that $50 you just paid, 40 of it is going to go to them, and $10 is covering your poster. So you're
Plus
essentially you're
shipping.
buying a poster and donating $40.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how that works. So it's like when you say like they managed to release some more RTX 2014 badges. So if you're still looking for a badge, and you couldn't find one on the forum thread that's built for that, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, there is a forum thread for people trying to sell their badges. Right now there are 61 RTX 2014 badges left on this thing, but they're $125, and normally they were $85. So you're essentially, in this case, you're buying an RTX badge and you're only donating like $30. So you kind of have to look at it like that you're making a donation, and they're kind of going, oh, here, thanks, here's this thing, and you're not buying something. So you didn't really buy,
It's a gift.
date. You didn't really buy a date with Michael for a few hours for $5,000. You donated $5,000, and he's saying, hey, thanks, come hang out with me, and I'll swear at you for a couple hours.
You can buy a date with Michael, dude.
That would be hilarious if that was all he did. He sat you down at a table in a completely blank room and just sweared at you and insulted you.
Yeah,
The thing says that he's going to be nice.
Why the
I
fuck
have
did you
never-
put that much money in? What is wrong?
I have never wished I had excess thousands of dollars lying around as much as I did when these perks and stuff went up, because it's like, there's some of that stuff like doing a full play date thing with Michael. That would just be hilarious. That would just be a butt ton of fun. And like,
Especially if
I
you're
would
good
love
at
to
doing
do that. Yeah. So so there's some things that are limited and there's some things that aren't. And there's still like, I want to see what the number is now. There are 6 each donated $10,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, I don't know who you are, but God bless you. And they get to be listed as
Yeah, that's
executive
impressive.
producers, and they get to do all this extra stuff and whatever. So, I mean, there's different things you can do. There's different levels of it. I think the most basic level is that gets you like the early access stuff is $10. Like you can do it for $5 just to be like, woohoo, $5. And I think once you get the $10 one, that's where you start getting to see the behind the scenes stuff. You get to see like the conference call streams and things like that.
Yeah.
So if you just want to be in the loop, $10 does that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I might do something
who
like
donated
that.
money, by the way? Who
I
donated
donated-
money, by the way?
I donated some. I'm keeping my fingers crossed I win the lottery and I can donate more.
Do you do you know how long they're still accepting donations?
So sorry, it's 25 days left. It closes on the last day of RTX, on
RTX.
July 6th at midnight Pacific time. So if you wake up the day after RTX with a hangover, it's too late for you to donate.
So if they keep going like they're going, then potentially they could have like up to $2
Like
million
a
by the
true
time
budget
RTX is over.
movie. Like not
Yeah.
anything Avatar level, but super. Still, it would still be awesome.
Well, Avatar was like $100 million. Well,
Exactly.
not quite that much.
Like, $2 million is like the budget of a Godzilla movie.
Yeah, an indie movie or
I'm not lying. That's
something
true.
in
It's
Tokyo.
like $2 million.
Yeah, they've answered some questions about what they're going to do with that extra money. All the extra money is going to this movie. Is all going to Laser Team. So like they have
special
like
effects
stretch
stuff.
goals where they're like, if we hit this, we'll do another office tour video, which I'm really excited about. But none of the money from the campaign is going to fund that. That's just something extra they're going to do. All $1,185,529 that are currently donated, that is all going to this movie. And they've got like a loose budget spelled out for if they hit their bare minimum, how things are going to be split up. Things are going to scale up with the more money, but they're not going to scale up evenly. Like Bernie said in a journal that one of the things they want to do if they get more money was to focus on getting, more talent in, getting more like actors and more help with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so some of that extra budget will probably go that way. And that might mean they have to go more into props and costumes in the studio and sets.
That
So
would be
it's,
awesome if
it's
they got enough money to do like real like actors and all stuff like that. I shouldn't
Well,
say
yeah,
real,
you're
but
talking-
more
I mean, like,
more
a lot of
professional
money.
actors.
Joel's a
Yeah,
real actor.
That's not going to happen. Not with that
Yeah.
type of budget.
Well,
That is
sure,
that is probably not going to
still.
happen unless they could end up with
They
something
got-
like that if one of those people is like a huge fan and is like, yeah, I'll do it, but
Yeah, that
like,
would be the
it's not
only
it's not very likely.
Yeah.
Elijah
Yeah.
Wood. They got Elijah Wood. for last.
Yeah, they could get somebody like Elijah Wood back, you know. So I mean, there are different options. They're keeping very tight-lipped about that kind of thing
Yeah,
for the time
if they
being.
were
like,
a
who's gonna
fan,
be involved.
that would be the
Yeah.
only way, though. They would have to be a fan. Anyone else is going to be like, sorry, guys.
Maybe
I'm
Johnny
a
Depp will do it.
lot more expensive
Yeah.
than that. You know, Johnny Depp might just do it just because he's a crazy person, but anybody else?
Get Shia LaBeouf to do it. I mean, he hasn't been doing anything.
Except for porn.
He has been doing porn.
Wait,
Oh.
whoa.
Well,
Yeah.
he was, and then he wasn't, and then he was doing this indie film that's basically a porn with less porn.
Yeah.
So wait, all I need to know is he naked somewhere.
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
You can
Thank
see
you.
him naked if you want, and there's not much to see there.
Oh. Well, thank you.
Shots fired, Shia LaBeouf.
Shots
Yes,
fired.
Ruined
Steve.
it.
So
Sorry,
there you go, Dark. That's what the Indiegogo is. That's what the funding is.
Yeah,
I'm so educated now. Thank you.
You're
yeah,
very
there's also an FAQ that Bernie posted about certain stuff, and I like the reaction that they had to the $1 million, especially Bernie. Bernie looked like he was crying or something.
He also
And
looked like he was
Kind of a
exhausted.
deal.
Yeah, it was a
He might have
combination
been
of that.
crying. He might have been exhausted. Maybe he was crying because he was
Wait,
exhausted.
did they do a
Yeah.
reaction video?
I've
Or, I mean, an
told-
AMA thing? Like, is this
Yeah,
actually a
it's
video?
They had an RT Life that they released of anybody who could got together and sat on the podcast set and waited and watched it roll over to 1 million, and so they posted that video.
Yeah,
I'd also like to point out I have in fact cried because I'm that exhausted before since we made that joke. I've totally been there.
I usually like when I'm that exhausted, I wind up laughing myself to the point of crying uncontrollably.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm right
that
there with
happens
you.
too.
Like, I don't know why that happens, but like suddenly everything becomes so hilarious, and the next thing you know, I'm like laughing and crying. I'm like, please just stop. I need to go to sleep. Like, it's so weird right now.
Madness.
Guys, I need to admit something.
What is it?
My audio recorder kind of stopped.
But
You motherfucker!
I'm so
I'm
sorry.
just kidding.
okay,
What do you,
so
what do you
wait,
mean by
stop.
stop?
Stop. All right, everyone. When I say check, you say Moke. Check.
Mark.
Check.
Check. What?
Mark.
Check.
Mark.
Mark.
okay,
Okay, cool. So hopefully we'll be able to resync the second half of this. Fucking. All right, what program is this? I'm gonna oust them, right?
immediate.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Fusion. It's Music Creator 6's fault.
Alright.
Just use fucking Audacity like everyone else.
Because I'm trying to be fancy.
Well,
And
that's
also
what you
on
get for
fail.
And you see
Most
what happens.
I bought it in a Steam sale a couple months ago. I wanted to use it.
Even though
This is
most
a free program. It's better than the shit you bought.
Yeah,
It
but
is.
most of the time it has fucking malware in it and adware in it. Yeah, it's free, but it comes at a cost.
No?
All right. Hopefully
Yeah,
we're
there are a shit ton
You
of
download
copies that have malware in there. Yeah, I don't download them. I scan them first.
What copies of Audacity are
Loads of them have
If
fucking
you're
adware.
downloading Audacity from one of those, triple X kind of sites,
yeah,
Well,
there's-
no,
if
it's
you're
not-
if you're
no, it's
downloading
literally-
Audacity with from Audacity's site, it's not going to be bugged.
Yeah, and that's what I've done, but there are other sites that are like www.freeaudacity.com.
Well,
like these
no,
are
you
comms.
just have to be
Well,
use
you're
common
not-
please
sense.
don't
at
be
that
retarded.
point.
Download
Hey,
one of those
listen.
sites.
That's one of those websites that only old people wind up going to. Like, is this
Exactly.
Audacity? I'm
I'm
gonna
just-
download this on my
Just have
grandson.
common sense when downloading an app. And
I'm
then
not.
it'll be
Yeah, I'm
fine.
not an idiot. I downloaded the right version. I'm just saying there are a lot. Like 80% of the things you see are malware and adware, man. So
How
that's,
long have you guys been
yeah.
recording?
A while.
minute 9 seconds and 40. Nope, no, just kidding.
Yeah,
43.
we've definitely gone over the hour mark, so it's time for us to actually wrap this thing up.
Man.
So-
an hour and 10 minutes.
Okay, so that's about 10 minutes of me gone.
Okay, so for the if anybody that didn't catch that, who's listening to this in the future or
I
listening
fucked up.
live,
Okay, I fucked
Yeah.
up. Sorry.
Hey,
So-
don't worry, Webwave. I won't judge you.
I'm judging you really hard.
It's
We gotta
funny
stick
because
together.
you didn't record before.
Well, Wave, you better be bringing Cheez-Its
That's
to the hotel
exactly-
room.
Dude, I'm gonna
Well,
bring
wait,
like.
that is your payment. You will only appease us by Cheez-Its.
You're paying in Cheez-Its.
So the hotel room's gonna look like a refugee camp, right?
Basically,
pretty much.
Yeah, that's what.
I
That's
accept
that's
it.
So, who would like to do the spiel since Tejan Lee isn't here to do it?
I don't know
Well-
what it is.
The
Yeah,
last time I tried to do it, it was not good. We have
This is
proof
why
of
you
that.
Are you? Would you feel you would be more capable of doing it? Or do you
I
not
think
trust yourself?
Yeah,
I don't know if I trust. If somebody else can do it, I'll
No,
give it a shot.
Zelda,
But
go for it. Go for it. It's all you.
Fuck. All right, so we got shit that you should be paying attention to. You should look at it everywhere. So you can follow us on Twitter at the forum thread. You can find us on YouTube. Again, pretty sure it's the forum thread.
Pretty much.
Lots of
We're the
Let's Plays.
we're the forum thread everywhere. You should also, if you find us on Rooster Teeth, we have links to all of our stuff. And surprise, surprise, if you look for the Forum Thread podcast, you will find that handy page where it lists all the links to our YouTube and our SoundCloud and our Facebook and all of those wonderful items. So you can follow us and not miss any of our wonderful and insightful conversations and yelling at each other.
Insane. Yeah.
And yeah, there you go. That's
Yeah, I'm proud of you. You remember the SoundCloud. You forgot.
yeah.
that.
I remember it's there. So
Yeah.
Also, fuck you,
I'll work
Virginia.
on getting this feel better. I will become the designated TJan
TJ.
backup when he's not here. So I will make sure I get that down. I'll take lessons from him.
Yeah, the Tejan 2.0 of Zelda.
Yeah.
All right, and with that, guys, we will bid you a good night. Unfortunately, we didn't get to go over the RTX panel schedule, so maybe we'll do that next week.
Oh yeah, that'll
Until
be
then,
really close to it.